group of mothers from Elkhart are concerned with the power and influence a county judge has given a court-appointed mediator. They believe their rights as parents are being stripped away without due process. ABC 57 News investigative reporter Kevin Wormholt sat down with those mothers, listened to their concerns, and went looking for answers.
Our newsroom has been flooded with emails and phone calls over the past few months. Mothers looking for answers, not understanding why their children are being taken away by what they say is a corrupt system with no oversight.
Did you feel like the system failed you?
Yeah, I did. I was just terrified that they were going to take her.
But I have no access to my kids. I don't even get a phone call. It's been 2 years even hearing their voices. It's like they've died.
All three of these mothers claim to have lost custody of their children to a corrupt family court system.
My due process rights have been completely violated.
Ashley Franklin is a mother of 4. Her ex-boyfriend filed for paternity rights for their 5-month-old son in January of 2023. Her case, like the others, landed in Elkhart County Superior Court 6. Judge David Bonfiglio, who currently oversees family court for the county, appointed the same Guardian Ad Litem to their cases.
Mary Raatz.
Mary Raatz. Mary Raatz.
A Guardian Ad Litem, also known as a GAL, can be appointed by the court to represent the best interests of a minor child in legal proceedings. Since 2019, hundreds of cases have been assigned to Raatz. After she completes the investigation, her reports are submitted to the judge, which bears a lot of weight on the custodial decision. Franklin initially thought having a GAL assigned to her case would have helped her. But still to this day, she says she has not met Raatz, who played a major role in her custody case.
It was about 12 minutes on the phone. I've never met her. My appointment was about 12 minutes long. She never asked to meet me.
Franklin claims to have told Raatz during her interview last February about her struggle with postpartum depression, which she was being treated for at the time.
It was new to me because I had never had it with the other 3 children, so it was definitely something that was scary.
What was her response when you told her?
She seemed sympathetic to me. She kind of encouraged me to find my own place and establish my own home with the children.
Raatz eventually submitted this report to Judge Bonfiglio in July of 2023. His decision was made based on her recommendations. It included the removal of Franklin's sole legal custody of her son. She was allowed to keep custody of her other 3 children who were not part of this case, even though Raatz claimed to be very concerned about Ashley's mental health. What troubles Franklin, this report from the Department of Child Services, exonerating her only a month prior to her phone interview with Raatz.
I got a call from DCS and they notified me that somebody had made a report and they wanted to come to my home and see my kids, interview my children, interview myself.
An anonymous tip prompted an investigation back in January of 2023, right after the separation.
She met my baby, looked at my medication, looked at my doctor's reports, doctor's notes, looked through our house, made sure everybody had a safe sleeping spot, made sure we had enough food, formula, things like that.
The report indicated children appeared healthy, clean, and safe. Basic needs are being met, and mother shows no signs of mental or substance abuse impairment. Franklin wanted Raatz to see the evidence in person.
I wanted her to see the DCS report. I just wanted to make sure that she had a clear outlook on our situation.
Now, Franklin admits she made some mistakes as well. She missed a court date, did not immediately submit to a drug test, and had not completed a court-ordered psychological exam. All this happened before she hired an attorney. She filed an appeal in this case and lost.
Have you tried to file an official complaint against Mary?
I'm told that there is nothing that they can do for me or help me. Mary's only oversight is Judge Bonfiglio.
According to the Indiana Office of Court Services, Mary Raatz is a private GAL appointed at the local level by a court as opposed to a certified GAL CASA program. She is neither certified nor supervised by the Office of Court Services, Office of GAL/CASA. Franklin felt her only option was telling her story on social media. She started a group called Exposing GAL Mary Raatz on Facebook. Other mothers from Elkhart joined the group and shared their experiences.
They told me I had an hour to hand my daughter over to her father that she hasn't seen in a year.
Ashley Persley, another mother, reached out to ABC 57 News to tell her story. She got pregnant when she was 14 years old. The father, Trey O'Brien, was an adult. He was charged in 2018 for sexual misconduct with a minor. The case never made it to trial. In 2022, O'Brien was seeking custody of his daughter. Raatz was the GAL assigned. Then, an anonymous call to DCS prompted an investigation. Persley tells me, like Franklin, she was exonerated. After the DCS investigation, Persley tells me Mary did her own report.
And she never spoke to you in person.
Never.
Mary does her own report
Yes.
now, and in her report, there's indications of abuse, malnourishment, and other things.
I had an hour to explain to my almost 3-year-old that she had to go to a stranger, and I don't know when was the last time I'd see her.
Very difficult to do.
It was. Sorry.
O'Brien and Persley now shared 50-50 custody. In July of 2023, Persley took her 4-year-old daughter to the hospital.
She started complaining about her vaginal area hurting.
After an investigation into allegations of inappropriate touching, DCS gave Persley emergency custody.
She said, "I'm granting you emergency custody. You now have full custody, and he is not allowed to see her or talk to her until we say so."
No charges have been filed yet, and O'Brien has been granted supervised visitation. Coming up at 6, I'll introduce you to another mother who hasn't seen her kids in almost 2 years, and a trained GAL who lays out what's wrong with how these cases are being handled. In studio, Kevin Wormhold, ABC 57 News.
A group of mothers is voicing their concerns about how the courts handle child custody cases in Elkhart County. We introduced you to 2 of those mothers earlier at 5. Now, ABC 57 investigative reporter Kevin Wormhold joins us in studio after meeting the 3rd woman who went through a similar situation, now working to fix the system.
After a troubling experience herself, Emerson Earhart decided she had to educate herself on the role of Guardian Ad Litem.
They can act with impunity without any sort of oversight.
Emerson Earhart says without a criminal investigation into a child custody case, there's a lack of oversight. She decided to get training to become a Guardian Ad Litem, or GAL, to become an advocate for families caught up in routine custody cases.
Well, strangely, in those cases, you have GALs who are not required to be trained. They don't have any oversight.
A judge can appoint anyone to be a Guardian Ad Litem, giving them immense power.
They have the power to look through medical records, meet with teachers, meet with doctors, meet with counselors. They can essentially meet with anyone. They are charged with investigating, interviewing, researching.
It's this unregulated power and responsibility that Jessica Klein says is the reason she lost custody of her 2 children. She claims to have been the victim of domestic violence for 20 years before finally leaving and getting divorced.
Mary Raatz, I had 1 phone call with her. It was only about 5 minutes long. There was nothing in that report that said anything that I had told her or anything, and she's even pulling people in from my family that she's not even spoke with.
She was allowed to have paid supervised visits. But when she tried to schedule the visits, she says the judge never sent the court order.
But I have no access to my kids. I don't even get a phone call. It's been 2 years. I was cut off at that May court date, and it never got set up at CAPS.
Kristen Rainey, another mother, was sent to jail by Judge Bonfiglio, recently won her appeal, and is suing the county.
I have a civil suit pending against the Elkhart County Sheriff regarding some things that happened in jail that I can't really comment on because that's in litigation.
I reached out and spoke with Mary Raatz on the phone. She would not agree to an on-camera interview. I was able to ask her some questions. Each time, she referred me to Judge Bonfiglio. I called and spoke to Bonfiglio's assistant last week, asking for an interview. I am still waiting on their response. Judge David Bonfiglio is up for re-election this November, running as a Republican.
I tried going public 2 years ago, but when it's only one person, they don't look into it. Now I know of more than 100 of us. I've had to grieve where it feels like they have passed on, but I know one day I'll be able to hear their voices again.
All the mothers I spoke with want to see an overhaul and oversight in the Elkhart Family Court system, seeking training and accountability for local Guardian Ad Litems, who are appointed by county judges. In studio, Kevin Wormhold, ABC 57 News.